Good evening, everybody. What is happening? Hopefully, you all are having a wonderful day today. So, I thought that I would talk about this little topic. I was actually going to release a video today talking about how Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua had apparently been confirmed about Tyson Fury. Yesterday, he said that the fight was going to be confirmed, that it was going to happen on August 14th, his fight with Anthony Joshua, so there could be a completely unified heavyweight champion of the world. But apparently today, and this was the day where apparently the arbitration case was supposed to be, or the result was supposed to be finally confirmed. Apparently, the judge of the arbitration ruled in favor of the bronze bomber, Deontay Wilder, and he said overall that Tyson Fury is obligated to face Deontay Wilder in a trilogy match because apparently Deontay Wilder still had that deal in the rematch clause. So we'll see overall what happens. Now, apparently, this doesn't mean that the Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua fight may not happen. They could pay Deontay Wilder a certain amount of money, and overall, that could lead to the Anthony Joshua Tyson Fury fight happening. But we'll just have to see what happens. I don't really know exactly what Deontay Wilder plans to do. It would seem like he plans to face Tyson Fury in a third match, but you never truly know. We'll see what happens. Now, as for this third match happening, what do I think overall of the fight? Do I think it's a good fight? Do I think overall that Deontay Wilder has a decent chance against Tyson Fury heading into a third fight? And I've done a certain amount of videos talking about the quote-unquote controversy that the Deontay Wilder fanboys in the LDBC and new media have tried to propose when it comes down to, once again, I never fed into that. A certain amount of people may disagree, or a certain amount of the Deontay Wilder fanboys would disagree, but it is what it is. Anyways, man, for those of us that seen that fight last year, I believe last February in 2020, when the rematch took place between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, it was a complete domination from Tyson Fury. He completely battered around Deontay Wilder throughout that ring, throughout the whole entire night, and he completely outboxed and basically beat up Deontay Wilder in that ring. Now, of course, once again, Deontay Wilder's fans allege that there's a lot of controversy behind it. I don't think that there's any controversy behind it because I don't think there's been actual any evidence or 100% proof that Tyson Fury cheated in the match. And I've already done a certain amount of videos on it. You can check them out if you want to. I did a lot of them last year, explaining my counterpoints to why I thought a lot of the excuses and a lot of the points that the LDBC and new media and all these other Deontay Wilder fanboys brought up. I thought all these excuses I just thought all of them were stupid, and I countered a lot of their points, but it is what it is. Anyways, when it comes down to it, for those of you that do believe that Tyson Fury did cheat in the second Deontay Wilder fight, I guess we might possibly get an answer here in a trilogy fight with Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, because according to Deontay Wilder's fans, Deontay Wilder is going to have a very good chance in this third fight against Tyson Fury. Now, personally, if you were going to ask me, do I believe that it is the best decision for Deontay Wilder to get straight back into the ring with the Tyson Fury after he got beat down the way that he did in the rematch? I personally don't think so. I understand why he's doing it when it comes down to it. He wants revenge, and according to Deontay Wilder, he 100% believes in those allegations. I'm not really sure if he does 100% truly believe in those allegations because he completely changed corners and he changed strategies, it seems like. So I think even Deontay Wilder knows that he's going to have to make some adjustments overall, that he's going to have to make some changes in order to even have a chance against Tyson Fury. Now, some people believe that Deontay Wilder, all he's going to have to do is just make some minor changes, and then that'll be a big thing for Deontay, and because of his athleticism, he does not need an A-class skill set. Well, Deontay Wilder, in my opinion, he's never really had an A-class skill set. You can argue that he's never really even had a B-class skill set, but because he is such a phenomenal athlete, he usually was very successful in a great line of fights, and a certain amount of people are not going to like what I'm about to say. But Deontay, the majority of his career, had not really fought that elite of opponents. And I've had a certain amount of Deontay Wilder fans on my ass. That's okay. It is what it is. But when it comes down to the overall, this should be very interesting. It's not really the fight overall that I wanted next and that I'm sure a certain amount of other people wanted next. But this is the result that the Deontay Wilder fans apparently wanted. This will provide some closure to see overall if the fight is any different, to see overall what will happen in this fight. If I had to guess what is going to happen, I'm going to predict Tyson Fury to win this match, probably by knockout once again. Maybe decision, wide decision. I wouldn't be surprised if that were to happen. Bottom line is this: Deontay Wilder, I do believe, is always a threat. He is a phenomenal athlete, and we'll see if he's working on some new things. I think that that's a great thing. Do I believe that we're going to see a completely new and changed Deontay Wilder in this third fight against Tyson Fury? Not really. And a certain amount of people overall may disagree. I think that it would take some major time for Deontay Wilder to adjust to a new style. I think that it would take a lot of time for Deontay Wilder to really work on certain things and really embrace them and overall adapt them to his style. And I think that, maybe he can learn some new things and maybe he can adapt it to Tyson Fury. But Tyson Fury, when I just take a look at him, when I've said this before, when it comes to a fighter that is just really a bad matchup for Deontay Wilder, his name is just Tyson Fury. If you were able to create a boxer in a lab that really would give Deontay Wilder the worst amount of problems, it would be Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury is about 260 to 270 something pounds. He has about an 85-inch reach when it comes down to it. He can outreach Deontay Wilder by a little bit. He can keep him off of him. He can fight going forwards. He can fight going backwards. He has decent defense. He has a decent chin when it comes down to it. Great belief in himself. And he has great boxing skills. So when it comes down to it, I just think that it's always going to be very hard for Deontay Wilder to beat Tyson Fury. We'll see what happens. Do I personally believe that Deontay Wilder will beat Tyson Fury in a third match? No, personally, I do not. And hopefully Deontay Wilder does improve to a certain degree. I think that changing corners was not the worst idea, but sometimes that doesn't always work in a fight like this, where you got beat down to that point. And trying to change game plans and trying to implement a style, I think that that's not the worst thing he can do. But if Deontay Wilder is put under pressure or put under a lot of heat by Tyson Fury, if Tyson Fury is able to get to him early and able to hurt him early, I think a certain amount of flashbacks are going to go through Deontay Wilder's mind. And I think overall that Deontay Wilder, once again, where once he was mentally strong, I think overall that he might mentally break down in this third fight. Because Deontay Wilder, I just don't see him being able to implement a certain amount of things, that much in this third fight, especially when Tyson Fury is going to put him probably under a certain amount of pressure. So we'll see what happens. This is not the worst fight in the world. Of course, this is not as good of a fight as Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua, but it is what it is. Deontay Wilder apparently has the rematch clause in his favor, and he has the right to implement that. So it is what it is. Anyways, I guess we'll see what happens in this third fight, and we'll get our answer. Is Deontay Wilder really going to be that much more of an improved fighter? Does he have a great chance in this fight? Is Tyson Fury the same fighter in this fight that he was in the first two? Or does he give Deontay Wilder the same amount of trouble? I guess we'll see. I guess we'll get a final answer. It'll be very, very interesting. But anyways, that's really about it for me today on this topic. If you had to ask me, what are the chances of Deontay Wilder beating a Tyson Fury in the third match? I'd give him, because he is such a dangerous athlete, I'd give him about a 30% chance in this fight. And some people overall, I know a lot of the Deontay Wilder fanboys, they're not going to like that. That's okay. It is what it is. This is not a Deontay Wilder fanboy channel. This is not a fanboy channel in general. It is what it is. All right, I'm just being truthful. I give Deontay Wilder about a 30% chance. I think that he is a tremendous athlete. And of course, if he lands that good right hand flush, he certainly can knock out Tyson Fury. He can hurt him. But I think Tyson Fury just has way too many advantages over Deontay Wilder. And I think that he's really just the perfect type of fighter to beat a Deontay Wilder. And I don't know if he's going to be able to pick up as many things as he needs to beat a Tyson Fury. And I understand a certain amount of people's mindset is that, well, he doesn't really need to have an A+ skill set. He needs to really just have a B+ skill or a B skill set to beat Tyson Fury. I'm not really sure. And Deontay Wilder is about 35 years old, if not 35 years old. I'm wondering how much he's going to be able to pick up in the first place when it comes down to it. And I'm also wondering if Tyson Fury really puts him under the pressure, will he do well with that new type of style or will he revert to his old instincts? Either way, I don't see it ending up very well for Deontay Wilder in this fight, but the best of luck to him. We'll see what happens. Anyways, best of luck to both fighters. We'll see if this trilogy match happens. It seems like it's going that way, so we'll see what happens. Should be very interesting. Anyways, that's really about it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you all later.